Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatamrandasya Jnanajanashalakya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminati Namni. Namacharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayani Gorkata Damdaya Nagargram Tarni. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminati Namni. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Prachvarni Nirvisesh Sunavadi Pasat Deshtarni. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Padagata Shvasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. And Vinod Prabhu, you're putting it all together, or no, not yet? Okay.
I'll talk to him, Mataji. We'll figure out a way and then do it actually. Okay. I think he's recording, he recorded last 2 sessions, but it is asking for the password. So that password, whatever we have.
Did the last 2 sessions, huh?
Yeah, he did it actually.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I'll talk to him, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, sorry, I managed to unmute now. Yes, yes, not yet Mataji, but we'll have to put it together. Okay. We have 2 recordings, but I have some problems with accessing the recording. You know, the passcode does not work, so we have to look into that as well. We have the recordings, but we can't access it.
That is why, Prabhu, you just ask, there is a software, separate software, you can ask Vidya Mataji. You don't need to go through Zoom. Something, I don't know what she has. She probably, it's installed in her phone, so she is able to record.
Okay. Okay, Mataji, yeah. I will discuss with Vidya Mataji and Abhay Prabhu. Yeah. Thank you.
Mataji. Naitad evam yathatvam yad aham vachmi tattata evam vivadatam hetum shaktayo me duratyayaha. When philosophers argue, I don't choose to analyze this particular case in the same way that you have. It is simply my own insurmountable energies that are motivating their analytical disagreements. Because of the material potencies of the Supreme Lord, mundane philosophers are perpetually arguing about which came first, the chicken or the egg. By the influence of the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, different philosophers are attracted to different views. And by the influence of the material atmosphere created by the Lord, these philosophers perpetually disagree with one another. The Supreme Lord himself, however, has given the clear explanation. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.4.31, Yat Chaktayo Vadatam Vadinam Vai Vivada Samvada Bhuvo Bhavanti Kurvanti Chaisham Muhur Atma Moham Tasmai Namo Nanta Gunaya Bhumne. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, who possesses unlimited transcendental qualities, acting from within the cores of the hearts of all philosophers who propagate various views. He caused them to forget their own souls, while sometimes agreeing and sometimes disagreeing among themselves. Thus he creates within this material world a situation in which they are unable to come to a conclusion. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So while Krishna is the one who gives us all knowledge, who facilitates our spiritual progress, but for those who want to forget him, it is Krishna only who arranges. Otherwise, how can you forget him? He is everywhere, and there is so much of evidence of his existence. But how some people cannot believe. They'll see, even when they see Krishna directly in front of their eyes, they don't believe. They will not believe. So that is because of Krishna himself and all these philosophers coming up with different theories. The intelligence is given by Krishna only. And it is simply by my own insurmountable energies that are motivating the analytic disagreements. So that is why by the influence of the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, all funny views. After we became devotees, and then You hear all these nonsensical philosophers, then it seems so ridiculous how they're coming, especially Western philosophers. Very, very funny theories they have. And so that is only Krishna, or even our own 6 philosophers, this thing, Kanada, Kapila, Gautama, all of them. It's so incomplete, their theories, but it's Krishna only who's making them say like that. He caused them to forget their own souls, while sometimes agreeing, sometimes disagreeing among themselves. Because some people enjoy philosophy. I mean, mental speculation. Mental speculation is a big sense gratification. And some people just enjoy doing that, coming up with different analysis, theories. And I don't know how even if they're contradicting themselves, after some time, they'll come up with newer theories. And really, they enjoy doing that. So Krishna allows them to do. Yasham Vyatikarad Asid Vikalpo Vadatam Padam Prapte Samadame Vadastam Anushamyati. By interaction of my energies, different opinions arise. But for those who fix their intelligence on me and control their senses, differences of perception disappear, and consequently, the very cause for argument is removed. Purport. Conflicting varieties of perception are created by the interaction of the Lord's material energies in the minds of different philosophers who staunchly defend their opinions, stating, this may be the case, or perhaps that, or the other, or this may not be the case, or perhaps that is not the case. Such logical or rational proposing, doubting, counter-proposing, counteracting, etc., take thousands of different forms and become the basis of argument. Actually, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is the basis of all existence. Since everything emanates from the Lord, is maintained by the Lord, and at the end is merged to rest within the Lord. Lord Krishna is Paratattva, the highest truth underlying all other dependent truths. In a society of learned persons who have understood the personality of Godhead to be everything, there is no further cause of philosophical quarrel. Such unity of opinion is not based on the absence of philosophical inquiry, nor on the stifling of rational discussion, but is the natural result of spiritual enlightenment. So-called philosophers proudly boast that they are searching and researching for the absolute truth. Yet they somehow consider one who has found the absolute truth to be less intelligent than one who has not found it but searching. That is the amazing thing, because Lord Krishna is the absolute truth. One who fully surrenders to the Lord becomes the most learned person. And we saw that in just recent times, in this Ayodhya temple building and Prana Pratishta and all that. So much of those who are not fully surrendered among the Vaishnavas, there was no doubt at all. Everybody agreed. Everyone, the whole country came together to build that. All the learned people and the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas and all people, all devotees. There's no difference of opinion, but opinion put by some other people, impersonalists and those who are materialistic, I mean, crooked people. They purposely had doubts for everything. Oh, how can you have Pran Pratishta when the complete temple is not complete? And then they found fault with everything. Maybe this is not correct. That time is not okay. Something or the other. And there's one devotee, the great devotee Ramabhadra. You must have seen that he's blind. He's very aged, and he was very instrumental during the to get the Ram this thing, that Janma Bhoomi and all that. And he was saying, actually Shankaracharya, he was initially saying, I will not go there because it is they're doing it when the temple is incomplete and things like that. And why was Modi doing how can he do pran pratishtha and things like that. So that time, this Brahmapadra, who's a great Vaishnava, he said, he doesn't know much theory. Let him debate with me. I will, I will defeat him in everything, because he's very learned, even though he's blind by birth, very learned. So like that, Vaishnavas, there's no, everybody surrendered to Ram. Everybody felt very joyful, happy, everything happening. Even the person, the sculptor, he said, I just surrendered. I was blank in front of the stone. I just prayed, please, you only make me do whatever you want. And he said, after it was installed, I didn't even recognize, did I do it? Didn't look like what I did. Looks different. He made, I mean, everything. So surrendering to Krishna, everyone is one. There is no question of, um, arguments and all these things, because Krishna inspires everyone, all his devotees. And so everybody is in agreement. It's only the mental speculators. Each one will have his own theory and then doubts and arguments and so on. So among devotees also, and that's why the more Prabhupada, he used to say, when people had any, before a temple president's meeting, they would have so many questions to ask him, Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada said, let's have Kirtan first. After the Kirtan, half an hour, okay, tell me your doubts, what problems. No, Prabhupada, no doubt, no problem. So, because when you surrender to Krishna, you get the solutions also. Everything from within. Krishna is the Paramatma in everyone's heart, and he is inspiring everyone. Because Lord Krishna is the absolute truth, one who fully surrenders to the Lord becomes the most learned person. Parasparanu praveshat tatvanam purusha rishabha Paurvaparya prashankyanam yata vaktur vivakshitam. O best among men, because subtle and gross elements mutually enter into one another, philosophers may calculate the number of basic material elements in different ways according to their personal desire. Material creation takes place as a chain reaction in which subtle elements expand and transform into progressively denser elements. Since a cause is in a sense present within its effect, and the effect is subtly present within the cause, all subtle and gross elements have entered into one another. Thus, one may categorize basic material elements in many different ways, assigning various numbers and names according to one's methodology. Although material philosophers proudly assume their individual theories to be supreme, they're all speculating according to their personal proclivities, as described in this and the following verse. So, subtle, everything starts from subtle to gross, like you have ether. Ether expands and becomes air. And ether is also present in air. So subtle and gross, gross comes from subtle, and the subtle is also present in the gross, in the next. And then the air expands and it transforms itself into fire. And what is the element which is this thing? That is in air, you have the touch facility. Ether is only sound. There is no touch, nothing, simply sound. You can't see ether. It doesn't have a form. It doesn't have what you call, it doesn't have form, or it doesn't have touch sensation. So from there, air is got that. Then air expands itself to fire. And in fire, the previous two subtle things are also there, which is sound and touch. You have that. Fire also has, when it blazes, it makes a sound. And then it's got a form. You can see you can't see air, but you can see fire. And sound and touch. You can touch fire also. Then fire expands and becomes water. And water has got all the previous three qualities plus taste. So like that, and then water expands itself into earth. And earth has got all the previous things: touch, form, taste, sound, and it has also got smell, fragrance. So like that. Thus one may categorize. So you can categorize in different ways. This is the way Shastra is telling us. But a philosopher can, categorize these elements in different ways, assigning various numbers and names according to one's methodology. But although material philosophers proudly assume their individual theories to be supreme, they're all speculating according to their personal proclivities, as described in this and the following verse. Ekasmin api drishyante pravishtani tirani kya purvasmin va parasmin va tatve tatvani sarvasha. All subtle material elements are actually present within their gross effects. Similarly, all gross elements are present within their subtle causes. Since material creation takes place by progressive manifestation of elements from subtle to gross, thus we can find all material elements within a single element. Purport: since material elements are present within each other, there are innumerable ways to construe and categorize the material creation of God. Ultimately, however, the significant element is God Himself, who is the basis of all the transformations and permutations of the material cosmos. And the creation of the material world takes place by progression from subtle to gross elements, as explained in the Sankhya Yoga system of Lord Kapila. The example may be given that we find the dormant existence of an earthen pot within mud, and also the existence of mud within the earthen pot. Similarly, one element is present within another, and ultimately all elements rest within the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is simultaneously within everything. By such explanations, Krishna consciousness constitutes the ultimate scientific methodology for factually understanding this universe. So, because one element progresses to another, the cause is also present within the effect is also present within the cause. Like from air comes fire, that means fire is within air also. That is why it's coming. And at the same time, one element is present within another, and ultimately all elements rest within the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything is coming from Him. And so, Krishna consciousness constitutes the ultimate scientific methodology for factually understanding this universe. So we see that how yogis, just by realizing Paramatma, or even before that, before seeing Him even, they are aware of the Paramatma, they've controlled their mind and senses, and they get so much power to manifest matter. They just think, okay, let me have this, and it manifests. They can create even planets and all that. The yogis like Vishwamitra created Swargaloka for Trishanku. So it is science, because if you meditate on the Lord, you can create anything. You get yogic siddhis. So it is totally scientific. And that's why Krishna consciousness, surrendering to Krishna, is the most scientific thing. It is not simply, foolish people who cannot philosophize or who cannot study matter. They only have to do that. This is the absolute truth, because everything is coming from Krishna. It's the full knowledge, and it's not easy to control your mind and serve senses and meditate on Krishna. And like we know how Karadama Muni created a 7-story mansion through his yogic powers. And he himself was surprised. I created this. How did I do that? Because it is mystic power from Krishna. That's nice. Yogi, like in earlier times, you didn't have to spend so much time. The cost and the time for constructing this thing, space vehicle, that too, it's not even possible to make it fly like that 7-storied huge palace. Only through yogic power he could do that. Krishna consciousness constitutes the ultimate scientific methodology for factually understanding this universe. That's why Prabhupada said that for at least in ISKCON schools, you must teach the children that whatever is happening scientifically you're explaining, but then you have to say the real cause. Krishna is the cause of everything. Then it becomes very easy to understand. Otherwise, people are very confused. How is this happening? That law, this law. Why do you need by Krishna? I mean, that is technology. The technological way of understanding the universe is to physically examine it and say, what is the cause of this? This element has produced that element. From this element comes another element. What is the constituents of elements and all these things? And if you're Krishna conscious, through yogic power, it is through mystic power you understand and you interact. Just by becoming a devotee, then the whole universe supports you. The weather and all, all the climatic things. Climate also is very suitable. The Mother Earth is offering all, crops and all that in abundance. With a little effort only, you get everything. All minerals and metals, everything is available in abundance because you did bhakti to Krishna. So that is science, right? And that is absolute science. And it works. People were very in Satya Yuga and all. Satya Yuga, they never went to work only. Everyone was sitting and meditating. And that was the most time of prosperity. How is that? They didn't do work. And we don't hear, they're all meditating. That was the Yuga Dharma. And they had maximum opulence, abundance in Satya Yuga. So that is through Krishna's mystic power in Kali Yuga. We don't have faith in God. Nobody wants to worship him. Are they? They just want to do themselves and prove. And so Krishna has given technology for Kali Yuga. Okay, you only do everything and feel manufacturing, you're discovering, you're supporting yourself. So we have to keep on working so hard just to keep alive, just to eat food and have a house and travel a little. How much just for this? Just to eat food, just to have a shelter and a little bit of whatever to maintenance. We have to work hard day and night. Just see. And people are not even surprised. How is it? We wanted to make our life easier. So we are using technology. We thought technology will save us from hard labor. We can relax, make the machines work, and we will this thing. But actually, people are more and more entangled. More work. So that is why they don't even, they should sit and meditate. Now, some philosophers can think, why is this happening? Let us find out. No, they're not. Therefore, then Krishna is saying, Paurvaparyam atos misham prashankyanam abhipsatam yata vivaktam yadvaktram grihnimo yukti sambhavat. Therefore, no matter which of these thinkers is speaking, and regardless of whether in their calculations they include material elements within their previous subtle causes or else within their subsequent manifest products, I accept their conclusions as authoritative because a logical explanation can always be given for each of the different theories. Purport. Although innumerable philosophers may rationally describe the material creation from different points of view, one cannot perfect one's knowledge without Krishna consciousness. An intellectual person should therefore not be falsely proud simply because he has ascertained a particular truth within the material world. The Lord here states that one who follows the Vedic way of analysis will undoubtedly have many insights concerning the material creation. Ultimately, however, one must become a devotee of the Supreme Lord and perfect one's knowledge in Krishna consciousness. So the conclusions, which from the rational perspective, there are like science also has got, from a rational perspective, whatever they say is correct to some point. So Krishna accepts that. I accept the conclusions as authoritative because a logical explanation can always be given for each of the different theories. But ultimately, one must become a devotee of the Supreme Lord and perfect one's knowledge in Krishna consciousness. Actually, medical science, they should also have one department of Krishna consciousness. Don't think that you're only curing everything and what you know is very, very superficial. We accept that there is a lot of, logic. They're studying it. They're cutting open the body and seeing how all the blood vessels are functioning, or the liver, different parts of the body. So there is some truth in what they're learning. But that is not the complete truth. The body works in a different level also. And in Krishna consciousness, definitely the health improves, all that they don't know. And the best thing is that a surgeon, right, in Bombay, who had the experience of, it was quite a famous, this thing, mhm, people have forward that he was a famous surgeon in Mumbai from Jaslok Hospital, heart surgeon. And then a small girl, her heart had to be cut open, and 6-year-old. So the doctor asked her, "Are you afraid?" "No, doctor, I'm not afraid." He was surprised because any child will be afraid your heart is going to be cut open and all that. He said, "No, my mother told me that there's nothing to worry because God resides in the heart." No, the doctor didn't believe. He was an atheist. So he just smiled, okay. Then he said, "Doctor," then again he asked, "Don't worry, okay? Don't be afraid." He said, "No, doctor, I'm not afraid. When you cut open my heart, you just tell me how God looks like." So, so he just said, "Okay, okay." And then on the day of the operation, just when he cut this thing, it was about to uh, uh, cut the heart open, then actually they looked at the graph, and her heartbeat had just become flat. And the anesthetist, nudged the doctor, see what's happening. It was like, and the doctor felt so sad because she was such a sweet girl and such a young person and loose. And he was there. Doctors go through misery actually, when people die in their hands. So he was feeling very bad. But suddenly he remembered, oh, she told me that, you open my heart, you see how God looks, and you tell me. He remembered God at that time, because of that girl's words. And immediately what happened? Suddenly her heart started functioning and everything became okay. And then she was cured. But this doctor had a really, it was a big revelation that actually there was no logical reason for suddenly the heart to stop, and after that the heart to function. He, for all purposes, he thought she's dead. But at that moment he thought of God, and that's it. She became okay. So that made him really trust in God. And then he put a photo of, I don't know, Narayana, Balaji, somewhere in his theater, operation theater. So every time he'll only after praying to God, he will do that. Yes, where is Rupamai Mataji? She's there. Yes, Mataji, she's not there today. Okay. So and that is why Ayurveda is complete. Okay, Ayurveda, they used to have surgery and all, but Ayurveda completely depends on Krishna. They meditate. Even for diagnosis, everything, they meditate. Dhanvantri is there. When you go to an Ayurvedic physician, Dhanvantri will be there, and they pray to God. So it is a revelation. Krishna is also not okay. They have the science of studying nadi, I mean the pulse. That is why it has to be a proper doctor, because nowadays, people don't have faith also. So those who are very superficial will not be good Ayurvedic doctors. I went to an Ayurvedic doctor recently. I mean, we have a proper one also, but in between, because he was not available or something, I went to him just to try, because he was in a big hospital. Someone recommended, so I went, and he didn't even feel my nadi. So after that, he told some things and all. I said, doctor, if you don't mind, you didn't check my nadi, it's not necessary. So he said, that is just a farce. People just pretend, there is nothing you can know about the nadi. I was shocked, but I've seen good. I mean, then finally I didn't go. I mean, okay, I didn't go to him again. Then I saw the other a proper doctor who was, feeling my nadi. I mean, he's really good. And the thing is, oh yeah. So after this thing, the nadi, he also have to pray to Krishna, because then only, by his mercy only you can diagnose properly. That's the difference. If a doctor is a nice devotee, then 50 I mean, his own knowledge is one thing, his experience, and then Krishna's directions, that will be make him very successful. Yes, Rupamai is not here. We can confirm from her. She is not here today. Okay. Ultimately, however, so Lord here states that one who follows the Vedic way of analysis will undoubtedly have many insights concerning the material creation. Ultimately, however, one must become a devotee of the Supreme Lord and perfect one's knowledge in Krishna consciousness. That includes all areas of work. Any work you do, if you're thinking of Krishna, then the work will come out fantastic, perfect. One devotee, actually it was Madhu Pandit, who said that he was working as a, what you call, as an internship in Mafatlal. Now Mafatlal is closed, but those days it was a big thing, textile company. So what happened, one of their machines was not working and nobody could repair it. And he said that because he chanted Hare Krishna and prayed to Krishna, he knew. Krishna gave him this thing, and he, made the machine okay. And so they were all very impressed. They said, "Please, we give you a job. you are hired," and like that. So he said, "I just prayed to Krishna." So Krishna helps in all this thing. Or another girl, those days, it was many years back, 20, 25 years ago, one young girl, and she had just learned programming, and she was working in the company. So those days, so I was asking her, "Oh, how are you writing programs and all that? How do you do?" She said, "I pray to Krishna and he helps me." So that is the thing. If you're a devotee, he helps. Anadi avidya yuktasya purushashyatma vedanam svatona sambhavat. Don't worry, I planned. Svatona sambhavat anyas tatvogno jnanado bhavet. Because a person who has been covered by ignorance since time immemorial is not capable of effecting his own self-realization, there must be an other personality who is in factual knowledge of the absolute truth and can impart this knowledge to him. Purport. Although the Lord tolerates different methods of calculating material causes within their effects and material effects within their causes, there cannot be any speculation regarding the two spiritual elements found in this universe, namely individual soul and the super soul. About that, we cannot speculate. Lord Krishna clearly states in this verse that the living entity is incapable of effecting his own enlightenment. The Supreme Lord is Tattvajna, omniscient, and Jnanada, the spiritual master of the entire universe. Sri Uddhava mentioned that some philosophers describe 25 elements and others 26. The difference is that the 26 elements include a separate category for the individual soul and the supreme soul, Lord Krishna, whereas the proponents of the 25 elements artificially merge the two transcendental categories of Jiva Tattva and Vishnu Tattva, hiding the eternal supremacy of the personality of Godhead. So those who say only 25 elements are there, they talk only of the Atma, but they don't talk of the Paramatma. So those who give 26 categories, they include Paramatma. Knowledge based on the three modes of material nature cannot rise to the transcendental platform where the personality of Godhead exists as the supreme enjoyer of eternal spiritual varieties of form, color, flavor, musical sounds, and loving affairs. Mundane philosophers simply bounce back and forth between material enjoyment and material renunciation. That's our disease because we don't want Krishna. Being victims of Mayavada, impersonal perception of the absolute truth, they cannot achieve the shelter of the personality of Godhead and thus cannot understand him. Being foolish, impersonal philosophers consider themselves supreme. They are unable to appreciate that loving service exists on the spiritual platform, stubbornly rejecting subservience to the personality of Godhead. The impersonalists are eventually overwhelmed by the illusory potency of the Lord and undergo the miseries of material existence. The Vaishnavas, on the other hand, are not envious of the personality of Godhead. They gladly accept his shelter and supremacy, and thus the Lord personally takes charge of his devotees and enlightens them, filling them with his own transcendental bliss. Spiritual service to the Supreme Lord is in this way free from the disappointment and repression of material service.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Sorry,
Yes,
Mataji. Please accept my humble. Mataji, I think we got a call from Rupani Mataji, like Ditya, no? Keshvi Mataji's daughter. She suddenly fainted and fell down, Mataji. So they are taking her to hospital. So Mataji requested to pray for her. Maybe low BP, I'm thinking, because she lost a lot of weight. I don't know why.
Why did she lose weight?
I don't know. When I met last week, I saw her. She lost weight actually. Maybe she's taking maybe diet and all. Just pray, Mataji, because Venkatapati Prabhu is too excited. He has BP, sugar. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Just pray for her.
Yeah, we'll okay. Now anyway, I was going to stop. So we'll pray first for Ditya.
Rajshekar Prabhu's also you pray. You tell me.
Yeah, that I will tell after the class. I will tell after the class.
Yes, ma'am.
Aditya will pray now.
Okay, for Ditya, we'll pray for her speedy recovery and complete recovery of her health. Let us chant 3 times. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, yes, Keshavi, how is Ditya?
Yeah, it's too much. Mataji, she got fainted while bathing, Mataji, actually. So,
By bathing?
yes, Mataji. She is having fever since 2-3 days, Mataji. And she is telling, like, I'm getting dizziness every day. So yesterday we went to doctor, but doctor was not there. So we took an appointment. Then suddenly she fainted, Mataji. So we are so scared, actually. So please bless her, Mataji. Mataji, please. Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, we are praying, Ditya, for your speedy recovery. Okay, pray to Krishna also. Krishna will cure you soon.
Yeah, she has exams, Mataji, from 7th, final exams. So he's reading completely very, morning, night, everything. So
maybe that is the reason.
Because of that, she got weakness, all those things.
She got low BP. Just take care of her.
Yes, Mataji. Okay, Mataji. We are going, Mataji. We are going to. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay. Now we go for prayers. We pray to His Holiness Dr. Swami's complete recovery and good health. He is in Ahmedabad, and we hope he recovers very soon. And they are requested also for all devotees to pray really, really very hard for his complete recovery. So let us all pray very, very sincerely, because Guru Maharaj also said, I'm doing whatever I have to. It's up to Krishna to cure him. No, Krishna only has to do it, and we have to pray for him. If we really, really, all of us pray, Krishna, Guru Maharaj has to become completely okay. He will become okay. Krishna is very kind. So he'll jump out of the bed and start walking, Guru Maharaj. So let us pray that that miracle happens very soon. And then we pray for all good health. Yeah, Vasantraga, you said something. And we pray for the good health, well-being, longevity, and complete, protection from all diseases for all Prabhupada disciples and for all our devotees and their families, good health, well-being, complete, longevity and protection from all diseases and speedy recovery from all illnesses. So let us chant 3 times Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Premada Mataji, you remember, no? 3 sisters. We met in Mathura Dham.